episodic is next. So TVs and streamings and such. We have a giant list. A lot of this is returning stuff. So the returning series we'll touch on. We probably won't spend a whole lot of time on, but we'll talk about a fair amount of this. First up on the list, I'll pull up the window again. Oops, we can stay at Comic Book because they'll have stuff here for it. So first on the list is Fall of the House of Usher, the final Netflix series from Mike Flanagan. This is going to mark the end of his contract. Sorry, notes again. This is going to mark the end of Flanagan's contract with Netflix, and then he's going to be switching over to Amazon. That is going to mean that he's going to be giving us the Dark Tower series over on Amazon. House of Usher. That was a news piece that's it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago that happened, and again, we're in the off season, so we didn't really catch it because it was an off week for us, for the off season even. But I don't want an ad. Don't show me the ads. Hype's final Netflix series. Yeah, there we go. As a grand curtain call. Ooh, Mike Flanagan is going to Amazon Studios. And so the weird thing about Flanagan switching over to Amazon Studios is Amazon is not the ones that own the rights. If I'm remembering this correctly, somehow strangely, Flanagan is the one that has the streaming rights to the Dark Tower series from Stephen King. So I don't know how that's working out, why he had to go to Amazon. Maybe Amazon just wrote him a better check because his contract with Netflix was up, and he's shown his ability to tell a really damn good story over on Netflix, and so Amazon just said, all right, let's do this. But either way, this is going to be the final, and this is not a proper Haunting of series, so we probably aren't going to see all of those actors return for House of Usher, though we have talked about casting and stuff for it before. I'm just not readily recalling it. So yeah, Fall of the House of Usher, super stoked about it. I love Flanagan's series work. Kind of hit and miss on his movies, but I love his series work, so I'm very excited to see what's going on there. Our next one for this is another one that, honestly, this one could have gone into the left field stuff, because this very probably, I am highly anticipating this getting pushed back, potentially to 2024, and that is Fallout, also over on the Amazon Prime. So Fallout on Amazon Prime is going to be helmed by none other than Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's little brother, and his wife Lisa Joy. You will know their names because they also did Westworld, which was canceled this year. So Westworld will not get to finish its story. Hopefully they have better delivery, I don't know, over on Amazon, because Westworld was great. Those first 2 seasons were fantastic, and then it really fell apart kind of hard, honestly. Like, I'm a big fan of finishing a thing that I start, so when they were releasing new series, I was still excited to see what was going on. But if you look back at it objectively, yeah, it was, those last 2 seasons were not as good as they wanted them to be. So Fallout TV series, that's casting stuff. We've talked about casting stuff. But yeah, Jonathan Nolan, Lisa Joy, very interested. We do know this is another piece that's broke since we've been in the off season, and I have not had an opportunity to bring up in stream. But we do know that the story for the Fallout series on Amazon is not going to be a rehashing of any of the games. It is going to be its own story, so probably taking place in a city that we have not yet covered in the canon of the games. But it is going to be in the same world of the game. So there is a potential that we can get some fan service and see some of those characters return from Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. Most likely. I doubt we'll see anything from 1 or 2. there's still a possibility probably that we'll see something from Vegas, some sort of callback to Vegas, but I would be very, very, very shocked if we saw any sort of callback to Fallout 1 and 2 in the movie, though it's possible. I mean, Jonathan Nolan is, again, Christopher Nolan's little brother, so he knows how to do some fan service. Yeah, that's what we got on that one. The next on the list, we have Star Wars Ahsoka. This is the only Star Wars thing I think I have on the list, which is saying something. I guess kind of sort of Rebel Moon is on the list, and that's kind of sort of Star Wars, but we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I think this is the only proper Star Wars thing I have on. Oh no, I take it back. Mandalorian. I'm stupid. But I don't know, just we know Favreau and Filoni are capable of doing amazing things. This is going to be another Favreau and Filoni series, so yeah, let's go. Let's do this. I'm totally here for it, and we're moving on to our next piece, which is Dune Sisterhood. Dune Sisterhood. We're gonna put that one on the search. Dune Sisterhood is going to be a prequel to the current Dune movies. I am a big Dune fan. I have read all 7 of the original books. I have started the prequel books. They're just not quite as easy reading as the original, I would say. Dune prequel series starting production. This was in October, so they're into production by now. We are very. Is there a November? I think that's the most recent one, November 22nd. Yeah. So let's see if they say anything about the release date, because I didn't have a release date in my notes. What is it about? It's about the creating of the what's the word? I'm brain farting. Bene Gesserit. There we go. So yeah, no release date for this one yet, though it is supposed to be coming out this year, probably sometime around when the movie comes out. But we're gonna get to that. All right, so our next one after Dune Sisterhood is Godzilla and the Titans. This is coming to Apple TV Plus. This is more, I'm not necessarily as gung-ho about this series, though potentially there is going to be some awesomeness here, because Apple TV Plus has been putting out some jams. I tell you what, they're really rocking it right now. Foundation, so on and so forth. But the reason I have this on the anticipated list is because I just want to see what they're going to do. Because it was supposed to be Monarch. It wasn't supposed to be called Godzilla and the Titans. It was supposed to be called Monarch originally. Now they've changed it to Godzilla and the Titans. So are they going to work out a deal with Have they worked out a deal with Legendary Pictures? Who knows? But they have the rights to do a serialized version with these characters, and it originally was not supposed to tie in to the Legendary Pictures version, but maybe it will now, because I don't know. The possibilities are really incredible. No release date on that one yet. There is a release date on the next one, though, and I don't have it in the notes, and I don't know why. So, we have Twisted Metal is the next piece for TV streaming. The Twisted Metal series coming to Showtime. Pull it up on the search. Twisted Metallics. Oops. I'm screwing myself up. Twisted Metal, starring Anthony Mackie, coming to the Showtime. Trying to capture. Oh, that's right. It's switched. It's not Showtime anymore. It's Peacock. I'm sorry. It's going to be on Peacock again, starring Anthony Mackie. Is there? I thought they announced a release date for this. Iconic character Sweet Tooth will be portrayed by Samoa Joe Cianoa, with Will Arnett providing the character's voice. Weird. Nev Campbell will also appear in the series. I guess I haven't looked at this one for a minute because I don't remember those casting announcements, but let's see if there's something a little more. I mean, November 30th, that was pretty recent. Yeah, nothing more recent than that. So no, I guess I was mistaken. No release date announced just yet for Twisted Metal, but it is supposed to be coming out this year. I think there was a time frame of fall given when we last were doing active research on this. So don't quote me on that, but I feel like that sounds right. Mayfair Witches is our next piece. Mayfair Witches is coming out next week, I think. Again, I don't know why I didn't put any of the release dates for the TV series in my notes. I put release dates for pretty much everything else in here, but no TV stuff. January 3rd. Mayfair Witches delivers... Oh, the first episode has already aired, apparently, because this is a review of it. Best adaptation of Rice's work yet. So this is the thing about Mayfair Witches. I honestly have not read... I started the first Mayfair book, but I did not finish it, nor have I read any other Witches books from Anne Rice, so I'm not as familiar with the source material, so they can kind of do whatever they want, and I'll still probably dig it, as long as it fits in well. Oh no. Oh, breaking news. Oh Lord. All right, we're going to go look this up. I am being told that Jeff Beck has passed away. Jeff Beck, guitar player extraordinaire. Let's go to... hell, let's just search Jeff Beck. Guitar player for the Yardbirds. Come on now. Give me. I don't want to go there. We'll go to Variety. That works. Jeff Beck dies at 78. Oh boy. Among the most innovative and certainly the most unpredictable of 60s guitar heroes, died Tuesday. He was 78. Oh man. He completed his tour with Johnny Depp. They did the 18 record, received 7 Grammy nominations over the years, an 8th in 2009 with for Herbie Hancock. That's incredible. That's crazy. All right. Yeah, I mean, 78's kind of old, but not that old. Shoot. Jeff Beck, you will be missed. That sucks. Okay, so, yeah, a little music news in the middle of our episodic content. But yeah, Mayfair Witches, that's where we left off. Sorry, got sidetracked. Breaking news. Our next two, actually, are a little less nerdy than the rest. So, bringing up the first, we have That 90s Show. Let's go back. Screw it. So this is the sequel series to That 70s Show. Here we go. So that 90s show is going... I believe they have everyone coming back for at least a cameo from the original cast, except for what's his name? I can't think of dude's name because he's in court right now for being a horrible person. And there's actual evidence of it, so it's not just a Me Too moment or whatever. He's not just getting canceled. Like, there's legitimate complaints against him. Anyway, so we have January 19th. So that's also next week. We'll be launching on Netflix, which is super interesting because Netflix doesn't have the best track record with reviving series or creating their own version of beloved series. Yeah, I'm super interested to see. So it revolves around Kitty and Red and their granddaughter Leah, who I believe is this girl here, who is the daughter of Eric and Donna from the original series. And then some of these kids are also the children of other characters from the original series. Like, I think that's a Kelso right there. But I don't think the rest of these kids are. Either way, it looks like Wilmer Valderrama is going to have something of a recurring cameo situation, and then everybody else is going to be making just little cameos here and there, which is pretty cool. Not gonna lie, I kind of dig it. I'm very interested to see what's going on with this, just because, like, I heard about it a little while ago, and we talked about it on the show, and then it died for a minute. Nothing was coming out about it, and now it's finally launching. So, yeah, I'm super stoked. Our next one, again, not super nerdy, but super relevant to me, man, and that is Night Court. Let's see if comicbook.com has anything about Night Court. Night Court is getting revival. John Larroquette, who was in the original series. So the reason I love this series... yeah, they haven't really talked about it since 2021, and it's finally happening. I think the first episode aired already. But yeah, John Larroquette, who was in the original series. I love the original series because there was one of the few memories I have is from when I was a little kid, when it was on the air actively, is watching that show with my dad. In the second airing usually played really late at night. So yeah, we watched a lot of Night Court, me and my dad. And so, like, anytime it's on, like, it's on some of the free streamers, and so I'll watch it there. But really, that's the only place to watch it. I think it was on Pluto for a second, but it gets broadcast over bunny ears on one of the digital stations. If you're looking for it, it's only in the middle of the day. So on my days off are the only days I could potentially catch it. And yeah, but John Larroquette, again, who was in the original series, is coming back. He's the only one returning because honestly, no, not the only one. We have Roz is coming back too, the security guard, and I think Bull is set to make a cameo, the other security guard, but I don't think he's going to be in the regular situation. Larroquette, I think, is the only one that's going to be a regular for the new series. Melissa Rauch, who you will remember from The Big Bang Theory, she was Wolowitz's wife. She is going to be the daughter of Harry, the judge from the original series, and she's going to be the judge in this series. So I'm super stoked about it. I really dig it. It is on regular broadcast television, so I'm gonna have to wait until it re-airs on Peacock because my bunny ears work like crap right now, but that's where we're at with that one. Our one last new series that's coming out in 23 is Gen V. This is the Boys spin-off series. I really love the Boys. This is going to be more of the same. Hopefully they can keep bottling that magic that they have and just keep good storytelling going with this, though I don't know a whole lot about the story that they're telling because I haven't read that comic book. So that's all we got on that. So let's get into all of the new seasons that we're excited about. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to throw over to chat one more time. What new shows, not returning seasons, but what new shows do you have on your most anticipated list for 2023? Let's talk about that for a moment. Sorry, still trying to get my dinner in. So yeah. Starting with good transition point. Gen V was the last new series, right? So it only makes sense. Oh, I got a pepper in my mouth. Oh, buddy. Only makes sense that the first thing we talk about for returning series is The Boys, season 4. Let's see if we can find a release date for that bad boy. Come on, comicbook.com. What do you got for me? All right, so The Boys, season 4. Still no release date proper for when it'll come out, it looks like. This is January. Yeah, this is just a couple of days ago, and no release date set just yet. But it will be coming out this year, and it will be with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. So super stoked to see that kind of sort of reunion with him and Jensen Ackles. That'll be pretty awesome. But that one speaks for itself. We don't have to go into any more detail on that one. So our next returning series, already mentioned this one once, but Mandalorian Season 3 speaks for itself. We don't got to go there. Witcher, big controversy here. Witcher Season 3. This is going to be Henry Cavill's final run as Geralt. Oops, I'm spelling Witcher wrong. D. So Henry Cavill's final run as Geralt. And it's supposed to be a big superhero send-off for Henry Cavill, and we will see. There is very little that they can do, I think, to salvage what the community thinks of this series. So that's why this is most anticipated. Not because necessarily I'm super excited to watch it, though I am making my way through Season 2 right now. Very slowly, but making it through. I'm just not. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for the final season because no more Henry Cavill after this. So we shall see. Stupid bots! I hate you, bots. You go away. You go away and you die. Hide user from channel. You go away. Okie dokie. Okay, so sorry, derailed. Next is another one that's not super nerdy, but very quality. It's nerdy if you like really good writing. If you get nerdy about really good writing in your visual mediums, then Succession is one of those shows that just delivers every episode. Making my way through it right now. I think we're still in Season 2, but that's the interesting thing is not only can you kind of pick up an episode here and there, you do still have to watch them sequentially, but they do such a good job of keeping you informed of what's going on in all of the plots and subplots that if you don't watch them all back to back to back to back, you can remember, because they tell the story so well, you can remember what happened in the last episode. They do give you the reminders like everyone else, but it's kind of unnecessary because it's just that well written. And each episode feels like it's giving you a lot more than is actually there, because they're only like hour-long episodes roughly, and it kind of feels like each episode is like 2 hours long, not in any sort of bad way. It's just all of the stuff that happens and all of the information you get from each episode is so packed that it feels like there's more to it than there actually is. So that's why I'm super stoked about Succession. I believe this is going to be the final season. I think they finally, it's been, I think, 2 or 3 years since they did the last season. But they didn't get to finish the story, so the HBO brought them back for one final season. And again, I could be making this up in my mind. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that's what I read. Is that this is the final season? They get to finish the story, and I'm very excited to see what happens. Next one, super nerdy. Invincible Season 2. If you have not watched Season 1 on Amazon Prime, probably the best animated superhero show that wasn't intended for children originally around. Like, this is quality. It's so good. You really need to watch it, because by the time Season 2 hits, which we need to look up a release date for this, because Season 2, I'm sure they've announced it by now, but I just can't recall it. So, Invincible. January 1st, teasing big season news. Yeah, the end of the month. Sweet! January 31st is when Season 2 drops on Amazon Prime. Very excited about that. This is just, it's quality. So, Jupiter's, what was that? The one on Netflix with Josh Duhamel. Jupiter Ascending, I think. Yeah, Jupiter Ascending isn't coming back ever. So this is a similar way, or similar kind of story that grounds these superheroes while also making them a little bit more fantastic at the same time. I don't know. It's hard to put into words why I love it so much, but it's so damn good. Very excited to see what happens in season 2. Probably will keep me up at night when it launches. I'll probably end up watching all 8 or 10 episodes at once. I'm not gonna lie. So, getting close to the end of the episodic stuff, we have next is Foundation season 2. Honestly, still haven't finished season 1, but there is no reason to not be excited about season 2. Isaac Asimov's probably one of the most popular book series Asimov wrote. He wrote a lot. One of the most popular book series that Asimov wrote finally got its time to shine on TV. A little bit of changes that kind of didn't need to happen and kind of don't necessarily add anything to the story, but they also don't really detract, so whatever. I gotta finish season 1 before season 2 gets here. I don't think there's a release date for season 2 yet, though it has been announced, so we'll double check that. But yeah, if you have not read any of the books, the first book is super short. So yeah, if you're curious, that's a great place to start, though it's also not super indicative of the rest of the series, because it was written as it's kind of a what's the word I'm looking for? A vignette kind of, because he wrote it in small chunks that were getting published in science fiction magazines at the time, and then he collected those small chunks and published it as a book. So there's definitely a little bit of a disjointed feel to the first book, but again, it's super short. You can read it in like 2 or 3 days. The rest of the series, it's a little bit longer each book. But yeah, so Foundation season 2 trailer, which means there's probably a release date attached to this. Premieres on Apple TV Plus this summer. No proper release date just yet, but summer, so we have a window at the moment. Lee Pace is really great in the first season. I'm super stoked. Moving on. Our next one, we're looking at another controversial one. It's Interview with a Vampire. Interview with the Vampire season 1 really lost me for a couple of the episodes. I am a bit of a fan of the original work. I do still love this new Louis. I think that this is a stronger character than what Anne Rice wrote in her first book. The ending of the first season definitely doesn't set up the next season like the first book. I mean, I guess technically the first book didn't really set up the second book, because then we changed perspectives entirely, and it's told from Lestat's point of view. So, yeah, very interested. This one is a mismatch of interested because I love the source material, but also I want to see where the train wreck goes, because that's kind of how season 1 ended, was a little bit of a train wreck, not gonna lie. And then our final one for episodic content is season 5 of The Marvelous Miss Maisel. Oh my gosh, if you are a fan of comedy, if you are a fan of cinematography, if you are a fan of writing, this show, I don't care if it's written and directed and produced by the lady who did Gilmore Girls, it is top tier television. This is some of the best episodic content around. You owe it to yourself to watch this show. Season 5 is going to be the final season for the series. So that means the story that they've been teasing, the conclusions they've been teasing for some time, will all hopefully get wrapped up in this final season. Other than that, I don't know if I can sing its praises high enough or tell you how excited I am that this is happening. But there we are. That is the end of the episodic content, which means their chat. What are we looking forward to as far as TV shows for 2023? Any TV shows, returning or new or otherwise? What do you got for me, Mr. Christopher? Are you looking forward to anything in particular in the year upcoming?
Once again, this has been just a brief segment from the larger episode that has been posted over on the main channel, youtube.com/generallynerdy. Go over there for the long form content, or just subscribe here if you want it in bite-sized chunks. Thank you very much for joining me, nerds. We'll see you in the next one. Before we go though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, it's probably here.